Hi, welcome to 11 Light. My name is Reverend Len. This is show 1000, and it's about the emotional processor, alchemy and relationships. So, as always, I hope you enjoy the show. And don't forget to check us out on YouTube. And also, I get some stuff going on Instagram under Shaolin2 underscore 2. Uh, Pictures, some poems, and things in there if you'd like to see. We If you need any help, spiritual coaching, counseling, uh, definitely available. My phone number is 896-2832. Give me a call. That's my cell phone. I'd be glad to set something up with you to want to deal with some issues, some spiritual issues, some psychological life issues, marriage, relationships. We are here to serve you and to help you take care of maybe some insights, give you some insights into what um, is holding you back from experiencing the peace and the love and the loving kindness that you deserve. So yeah, give us a call. I have my number. My house number is 328-7777, but you get me on my cell phone 896-2832. We I do readings on the I Ching. If you're interested in that, we've done extensive helping people in relationships. We've been married for 44 years, so we've been around and know the terrain, the marriage terrain, and know the alchemy of it. Know um, the thing about alchemy is what we're going to talk today. We're not going to really talk about alchemy because I don't know anything about alchemy. I mean, except that a general understanding. Um, we practice alchemy in the way of kind of a natural process, in which case is the turning something, um, say, of lesser value or lesser or negative into a positive, or turning iron into gold is alchemy, or whatever that claim is. But turning, what we're more focusing on is the process, which is what we call this, um, a process that one undergoes that starts in a place of, well, I just choose the most common emotion of anger, which can, which hides a lot of other emotions, but for the sake of a processor, for this alchemical type of thing we're going to explain, it's good. It's an emotion. It's a state that we uh, find ourselves in. Uh, Even if you're not in a relationship, you find yourself in a state of anger, frustration, and it's, it's suffering. I mean, anger is suffering. It's burning. The alchemy of it uh, can be, if we go in and examine what's going on, the heat releasing, the tension produced, the adrenaline produced, the clenching of the teeth, the constricting the throat, chest, the tightening of the chest, the buttocks, the legs, and I mean all of the alchemical things, all of the things that are going on in the body, the physical things, which is being driven by this emotion, and it seems to have a process of its own, and that's the goal of this type of alchemy, of this processor, is to understand the structure of it, and to penetrate it, to interrupt it, to change it. Um, the common way, of course, of thinking that well, you stop being angry and stop being loving, which how's that working for you? If you can do that, well then good for you. You you may have some discoveries coming down the line. I mean, if this is working for you right now, you just say, well, I just don't deal with my anger. I just let it, I let it go. I say that, it could be worse, and all kinds of homilies and affirmations that I use, and they seem to work. And I say, sometimes they do, sometimes they do. On a regular basis, on a day-to-day basis, in relationships, um, if you sit there and you're talking to your husband and to your wife, and you start, there's anger going between you, and you start doing affirmations, you know, maybe if both of you decide to do that as a, as a technique to calm things down, that's okay. But as a long term resolution to what's the cause of the anger, what's going on? Why are you angry? And it's always because, well, such and such or so or this and that does this and that, and because of this and that, I'm angry. And we look at that and we say, oh, so you made a choice, and your choice was to be angry. And say, no, I didn't make a choice. They made me angry. You say, well, okay, so that's where we start to work at. So what we call being in the work or doing the work is, first of all, making a decision that we want to become masters of ourselves. We want to know ourselves, which, by the way, if I haven't mentioned it before, that's why you're here. It's not anything else. All the other reasons why you think you're here and why you've been coming back here lifetime after lifetime are delusion, that what you're here to do is to penetrate and to know the self, and to know the authentic self, to know the essence of who and what you are. And in order to do that, we have to start with where we are, which is here sitting listening to me. Right now you're here sitting listening to me. What's going on? What's going on inside of you? Are you reacting to what I'm saying? Are you responding? Are you bored? So this is the process of checking in to say that at any given moment, at any given time, something's going on inside. If you want to come from a medical form of view, from the physical form of view, there's a gazillion things going on. Countless, innumerable events happening inside of our body right now at this moment. Emotionally, because of all those physical things going on, there's a bunch of emotional things going on too. And behavioral, they're all tied into the emotions, into the physical, into the chemical things that are happening. And then psychological is all about our reactions and our responses and our feelings, and dealing with our feelings as to what's going on in our physical and the thing. And then there's this mental thing. So a lot's going on. Mentally, you say you can only focus on one or two things at once. Actually, there's so many things happening inside of your brain, inside of your mind at any given moment, that it's impossible to know the extent of what's going on, because images are thoughts and feelings are thoughts, and everything's a thought. Everything is we're thinking this whole stuff. Everything we're doing, we're thinking. You are thinking me. There's a voice inside of you telling me that telling you exactly what I look like, and telling you about my hair and my color and my facials and my eyes and my nose, my mouth, my whatever it is. There's a voice describing me, describing the background, and describing the room that you're in, and everything you look. So this is going on. This is the process. This is called life. We're living in it, and it's like we don't we don't tune into it because, well, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's called sensory input, and that's why when you want to know yourself, at first, an important part of knowing yourself is cutting down the sensory input. Sitting in a quiet room, getting away from the hustle and bustle of life and all the people talking to you, and sitting calmly, patiently, peacefully, comfortably, not too comfortable. It's not about going to sleep. This is about sitting and paying attention to what's going on. Close your eyes. Go inside. What's going on? You're breathing. Be aware of your breathing. Just be aware of your breathing. How's that going? See how long you can stay with just being aware of your breathing, coming in, going out, coming, going. Just be aware of that. And interesting how difficult it is to stay with it more than a few seconds, a few minutes at the most, unless you practice. Unless you practice focusing on something like your breathing, or sweeping your whole body and just feeling the sensations. I have an itch. I have an itch there. I scratch the itch. There was an itch. The intention was to relieve suffering. A lot of suffering. That's suffering. I mean, enough suffering that my intention was to, I'd rather scratch that than to sit here and talk to you and endure it. So I took care of it. And so this is the the self-knowledge process is enormous. It's enormous, Start someplace. That's why they say a system. So what we're offering today, what I'm talking to you today about, and what if you want to study it, if you want to go into it with me, if you want to do some work with me on it, the work, we're interested in, we're introducing a system called, we call it the emotional processor. We can call it the alchemical processor, the relationship processor. But it's about taking the matter of the negative matter, the anger, the frustration, all the different feelings, and processing them, not getting rid of them, not drugging them, not taking pills, not doing something that covers over what the source of it is, but a processor that goes into it to see what it is. I'm angry at you. And you see, why are you angry at me? You see, because you said something to me. What did I say? You said that that you don't like me. I said, I did. Oh, what did I mean? So we'll have an exchange. We'll have an interaction where if we're working on ourselves, and if you're in couples therapy, or if you work with a therapist, or if you work with yourself, a teacher, or whatever, or somebody that can help you, you start to realize there's a few ways of talking about these things that's going to be helpful. It's going to help you to release this imprisonment that you have, because there's an imprisonment to have. I put you in a prison, they put me in a prison. If I'm angry with you, and I don't clear that anger, I don't talk about the source of the anger. Now, maybe there's nothing you can do about the anger. I mean, it may be that I'm angry with you and you don't care, which is not what we're talking about here. That's another process. What we're talking about is you're in a relationship and you have this loose or hopefully deep agreement to love one another, no matter what. That doesn't mean to ignore that you're not loving, but that means to love one another, to find a way to love one another. Especially, it's only important to use this thing when you're not. I mean, when you are loving, well, then get into that process and say, why am I loving? Why am I feeling good towards this? Is it conditional? Okay. Let's not slam the conditional just because it's not pure unconditional love. It's the other person's providing something that you want, that you like, and it makes you happy. Okay, we got a whole bunch of other stuff to work on. We cannot knock out the good stuff. So we can expound on the good stuff and say, okay, well, good. We can do more of that. We can do more sharing. We can do more talking about my feelings, your feelings. We don't have to wipe out the good feelings and to say, well, there is something going on I'd like to talk about. If there's something going on, if there's an issue that you have, yes, you need to talk about it. You make a time and you make agreements on that and sit down and talk about it. That's the perfect world. That doesn't work, really. I mean, it's important to set up a time. To have a time that is free, we call it a date night. You know, and it's not a question of, well, I really kind of busy and I don't really have time for your relationship. Okay, so much for that. Hey, it's a relationship. Uh, they don't work relationships. They don't work. They do. That's a. It's not a noun. It's an adjective, I think. But it isn't something that operates by itself. It's not like, oh, this relationship isn't working. Relationship's not a person. It's not a thing. It's a way we discuss a process of how two selfish, separate beings are interaction, having social, mental, physical, emotional intercourse, connecting as one. That we are relating. If it's a ship, it's like good. Okay, it's a ship. We're going to build a strong ship, one that has to do with communication, air, so we can blow the sails, communication. And it has boundaries. It has rules. It has some energy in it. It has love that fills the sails. It's something that you work at. You work at the relationship, and if this is the agreement you have, is that if you're over the first few weeks, few months, few years, lucky you, few years of the honeymoon, where she calls you honey, and your jokes are funny. And then you realize she's only in it for the money. It's a song, somebody. It's called "Don't Go Looking for Trouble." Trouble will find you. You don't have to look too hard. Trouble's right there in your own backyard. Um, but in a way, we're not talking about looking for trouble. We're talking about not avoiding trouble, not avoiding it, not avoiding the negative. You really can't affirm away all of this stuff. I mean, and even if you could, it requires an emotion. It requires a state of, the question is, who's doing it? Who's doing all this controlling? Who's doing all of this regulating and keeping everything just so? Who? And you say, well, what do you mean, who? Well, what inside of you? What is it in you that feels like you have to control everything to be just right so that things can be peaceful? And you have to keep your finger on things, and you have to make sure that everything is just right so the peace isn't disturbed. That's takes a lot of energy. Becomes rigid. You become fake. You become it's a fake personality. And we develop it, and it's not authentic, because it's not real. Because the authenticity of a relationship is storms and wind and seas and rough water and rocks and crashes and shipwrecks and all those things, which is life. And how how do we want to deal with it? So this is a process of then. This is a process of how to deal with not just my feelings towards you and me, but issues, problems in my life, things that I'm what we call not being straight. So the idea is, a '60s word. Hey, let's get straight about things. And straight means that your physical, your activity, your behavior, your word, your thought, your emotion, how you feel about that behavior, your thoughts, your words around that behavior, and your the spiritual force in you, your soul force in you around that behavior. So if I believe in it, if I think a certain way, if I speak a certain way, and if I act a certain way, if that's all in harmony, if it's not a disco, if I'm not saying one thing and doing another, then that's called being straight. So in a relationship, being straight means that I'm not pretending to be in love with you. I mean, I'm not pretending that there is no disharmony right now. I'm open to disharmony. I'm open to it, and to take it in, to process it, and to let it go, to find a way to let it go, and to get back to love. Because once the issue of he said, she said, you did, I did, they did, we did, all that stuff is done, which which we cover in the first. So it's like a 10-step process, and the first couple of steps are about, first of all, tuning into the fact of in a relationship. You recognize um, things aren't okay. You're not talking. You're not spending any time together. You know, you're avoiding one another. You're sharing a house basically. You're roommates. Um, there's a feeling of tension behind you. There's a feeling of there's something missing. That spark is gone, and so you don't have to accept that. You can, because you can then ask that all important question: why? Why aren't we spending enough time? Why aren't we spending any time together? Why aren't we talking? Because I don't have time to talk. I'm busy. Why are you busy like that? Why are you doing it? Oh, I got to pay for this house. Ah. So you're upset about paying for the house. You don't want this house? Oh, no, I want the house. And then why are you upset about it? Well, because I don't have any time. Because I have to make so much money and I have to pay all these bills. You can see what I'm talking about? I mean, there's not being straight, It's like, who forced you into living this lifestyle? Well, she did. Yeah. She did? Ah. Okay, well, you got a major thing going there that you need to talk about and clarify. You both need to be living the same lifestyle and getting the same agreements. And this is everything. This isn't just like one part of marriage. This is everything. This is the whole shebang. This is, if you're not making agreements, if you're not in sharing a life, if you're not sharing power, if you're not doing this thing together, and you're doing it separate, well, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before you don't live together anymore. It's just a matter of time before the separation, because the whole world, the spinning globe that we're on is pulling you apart all the time. It's creating apartments. We live in apartments. We live. Our bodies are apart. We're not together. We're individuals, and now we got isolationism, and we got all this stuff, which are anti-Christ. If Christ, which is not the guy Jesus, but if Christ is the representation for love and unity and oneness, then Antichrist is not a little guy with horns and a tail running around, or Donald Trump, or whatever you want, or whoever it is you think, or whoever you think the Antichrist might be if you're from the other side. The Antichrist is a concept of separation, of the denial of oneness, the denial of togetherness. It's the denial that we're all one. It's I have to have my space and my time, and of course you have to have your space and your time because you have to emotionally process things, and sometimes you need solitude to get in touch with that. But when you have so much space and so much time, you're not together anymore. When you're not together anymore, you're not having a relationship. You're not even in the same ship. You're in the ocean, she's on the boat. Or she's in the ocean, you're on the boat. Or she's on an island, or you're on an island. And he's sailing off on the water. I mean, so we're together on this thing. And the thing is, how do we keep our thinking process, our emotional process? How do we deal with these emotions? How do we deal with these feelings? How do we deal with when you hurt my feelings? How do I talk to you about that so that we don't have our next fight and create more feelings and more hurt? So what happens is you have a fight and you explode, and all of these storehouses, these electrical and negative charged energies are released, and you feel good again. What really happens is your brain gets knocked into another aspect, another quadrant of your brain, and what we call is a different personality. You go into another personality. Have you noticed that we change personalities? If you haven't been married long enough, you will. You say, well, he's not the same guy I married. He's his father. That's what happens when you get married. You turn into your parents. And the whole of marriage then is about this is not me. This is not who I am. I'm love. I'm truth. I'm awareness. I'm consciousness. They are my parents, the roles of society. They're roles, This is what the process is about. The process is about breaking roles. You know, as long as we're in roles, in other words, as long as I have a script, you know, I have to act a certain way and be a certain way to be a father, to be a mother. I mean, I mean, there are certain things you know one does in order to live with one another. I don't have to be the breadwinner in order to be a husband. I can stay home and take care of the kids. In fact, I did. Um, she doesn't have to be the little woman around the house and cook and stuff like that. She's not. But that works out because there's agreements. You make agreements, you know, and if the agreements are, you know, if you're feeling not straight about the agreements, you change the agreements. You know, you make an appointment with one another. You know, you have to make an appointment where you can say, "Hey, I'd like to talk about this. You know, can we? This is bothering me. This is some." You know, what's bothering you? What's going on? You say, I don't know, nothing. I would say, okay, so you feel fine then? Everything's fine? Uh-huh. How come you're not talking to me? I don't know. You can't say that. You're not allowed to say I don't know. How come you're not talking to me? What do you mean? I get up in the morning, you have your coffee, I'm cooking, I'm taking care of the kids, you drink it, and you're out the door. I don't have any time. You come home, and the same thing. We eat dinner, you fall asleep watching the TV. I'm tired after work. What am I supposed to do? And so it goes, day in and day out. Saturday is family time, beach time, whatever time. No room in there to talk about. Sunday, you're so tired you sleep through the whole day, or again, more social stuff. Social stuff. Why shouldn't you have social stuff? What's wrong with the social stuff? You gotta have some enjoyment. You gotta do is work all day. You gotta have some social time. What's the problem with that? It's nothing. None of this stuff in itself is a problem. You know, what's the problem is the elephant in the room. The problem is you're not communicating with each other. You're not talking to each other. You're not talking about your feelings. You know, so, well, I feel okay. You know, I don't mind. It's not that bad. I can handle it. See, but that's not talking about your feelings. That's denying your feelings. That's in denial. And the more you deny, the more it builds up. And then all of a sudden, you know, a couple of thousand of those, and that's a divorce. You're out of here because you never talked about it. You never made the time. So you have to make the time. You have to make the time. You know? You have to have an agreement between the two of you that you are going to sit down. And my wife and I do it every day. Not my choice, but I know it's good medicine. You know, it's medicine that keeps one healthy. You know? You don't like to exercise either, do you? Well, you exercise, your body's healthy. You know, you don't like to talk about your thoughts and feelings. You don't like to get straighter. You don't like to deal with that every day because there's so many other things you'd rather do than excavate your feelings that you've very carefully buried and hidden. And you're uncomfortable with talking about anyway. So who wants to talk about these things? You do. You want to talk about them. You know why I know you want to talk about them? Because you want love. You want love. And if you don't talk about them, you can't have it. You can't have love without talking. They're lies. It's lies. I mean, you can win the lottery too. You know? And even then, people talk about winning the lottery and having their life be destroyed. No, it's lies. You know, love love is something you have to cultivate. You have to work at. You have to talk about it. I can buy you gifts and I can buy you roses and I can do all the right things. But if I am not talking about my thoughts and feelings, then it's just waiting. They're in there. There's thousands and thousands of them going on every second. So there's a few of them in there that aren't okay. And and you say, okay, so what is this? Like, you know, we have to do this all the time? No, I didn't say that. Every day? Well, you eat every day, you sleep every day, you wash your body every day, or maybe not every other day, whatever. You exercise every day if you're thinking about having a body that's going to last more than 80 years. Um, sure, every day. Sit down and talk. How's it going? What's happening? So what happened with you? Hey kids, Mom and I are having a half an hour, 45-minute time to Never mind sitting meditating. It's good, meditate. Go ahead and meditate. But you don't want to go sit and meditate together and not talk about the issues. I mean, if meditation is a good practice, have it twice a day. One, yeah, do it. Yes, yes, yes. Exercise is good. Do it. Exercise is good. Eat well. Don't eat junk. Don't drink. Don't smoke. You know, I don't have to tell you to do this. You're not stupid. You know all this stuff is not good for you. You're doing it because I don't know why you're doing it. Why are you drinking? Why are you smoking? Why are you avoiding talking about this stuff? Oh, I don't want to upset her feelings. 9 times out of 10 is you don't want to feel. You don't want to feel. You tell her, or you tell him, mostly it's her, you tell her, and she's going to get all emotions, which, and I don't want to deal with her emotions. No, you don't want to deal with your emotions. I know, I'm the living example of it. I am this, this thing of, I'd rather do anything right now than talk about my emotions. I'd rather just have everybody be happy and peaceful and get along. I mean, I really can't understand why we all can't just get along. Which is a nice person to be around, except when they explode. That's my wife. My stuffing that stuff, has been her albatross, her burden to bear. All of my good qualities are also wrapped up in the one that I don't process my emotions as quickly as I could, as quickly as I should, so that we can let go of them. It's just about letting go. You don't walk around with with your poop in your body all day long, days and days. You release it. You don't hold your pee. You release it. And this stuff is just stuff that you gather during the day, just like you eat and you have to go to the bathroom, you drink and you have to pee. It's like you gather all the day. As you, I have to keep looking at my time here, so sorry for being annoying. I wear my glasses that reflect. So anyway, yeah, this is something that you collect all day, thoughts and impressions and things. Things go on, right? I mean, I can watch my relationship. My relationship with my wife goes through 19 different time zones and temperature zones and weather zones in a day. You know, I mean, we could be having this wonderful time, right? Great thing that all of a sudden, if we change to do something else, if it's okay, what we're going to have for dinner, you know, that can go into a thing of most of the time it doesn't matter, or it can go into a thing of how come I'm doing all the cooking? Bam, but it comes up, and so okay, is this the time you want to process that? Do we make agreements? You were going to do the cooking, I was going to do the cleaning, blah 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 blah. You get all that stuff worked out, or shall I just stuff it? We'll just stuff it and just because it's late, it's time. There's a list of reasons why it's not apropos or convenient or good right now to sit down and to discuss this. But it's the only thing that you're in marriage for. You're not married to get a house and to have kids and to all that stuff. You're married to heal one another. You're married to get to know one another. In Lakach, in you is a me. As I look at you, as I work on you, I work on me. I have pulled you into my life because either you are here to reflect, to help me, or I'm here to help you, or to reflect to you that which is missing. I'm here to complete you, to help you, either on purpose or by design, or by the fact that we are chemically and hormonally attracted to one another. That's what attraction is. And we fall in love, we fall out of ego for a moment, about 10 seconds, and then we're back in our egos, and then our egos have to work out how did that feel? How was it when you weren't in the way and we were like, whoa, two spirits together talking all night long, and we couldn't stop talking because we were so in love. We were mind melding, we were connected, our hearts were open, sex, whatever it wasn't the thing, it wasn't even that. It was the mind melding, it was the connection. What happened to that? Stop practicing it. Yeah, but the kids came in and life get busy. Yes, it did. Yes, it does. It's not easy. If it was easy, nobody fell at it. Right now, we're at 50%, probably a lot more. 50% of divorces, and there's about another 90% of those are kind of, going through the motions. Another 10% are kind of like, working really, really hard at keeping this. And then there's the fortunate few that everybody's thrown up on the screen to say that's what a perfect union is like, and why don't I have that? But let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. Let's just be happy. Let's just enjoy ourselves. Why do we always have to talk about this stuff that's keeping us apart? Because you don't want to be apart? Because you want unity? How do I know that? That's what you're here for. That's what you're here for. Unity, oneness. You're here to have that realization of God, the God realization. God realization is not some white guy up with a white beard up in a cloud someplace, or some angelic force someplace. God realization is oneness. We're all one. You and I are the same. How far away are you that? Pretty far. A long way, You'll know when you get it, because that separation won't be there anymore, and you'll feel one, and you'll be blown apart. It won't be like, I might have experienced God. You'll know when you experience it. Even briefly, It's like, what? It's called falling in love. It's the same, but, different, way different, but still, falling in love is you're on the outer edges of the God universe. It's way down there at the center, but you're on the outer edges of it. And so the question is, how do I get back to love? So first of all, we talk about in the process, which I'll go up, for the next few shows, or maybe longer. And if you like some personal stuff on it, I can send you. I might post this if I get my website. I'm building a website now, finally. It's not relying on other people to do it. I'm just doing it. But if I can get, I'll get some. I'll post in this website under lovinglight.org, which it might not be up even by the time you get this, but it's up. I just have to load it up with stuff. But in that, I'll have the process and all the different steps. And the first few steps are about thoughts and feelings. First up, what are my thoughts? Well, what do you mean my thoughts? Well, you have an issue with me right now. If you have to process, you have to decide you're going to process something. It's not just, hey, I think I'll process. Well, okay, you can process your feelings and stuff, whatever. But there's something bothering you. There's something amiss. There's discord, disharmony, right? So you have to process it. Well, where do I start? What are your thoughts? I don't know where my thoughts. I don't know my thoughts. Well, what are you thinking? Well, I'm thinking that I'm unhappy about something. What are you unhappy about? You have to do some probing. It's probing questions. You have to find out where your thoughts are. You have to practice. It's not easy at first, because the thoughts vanish. When you look inside, they say, "Oh, there's nobody here." So stay there for a second. They'll come right back. They're not going anywhere. You can't sit for 2 seconds without them coming right back in again. If you pay attention, if you look, what was I just thinking about? I don't know. What was I just thinking about? That's how much the blockage goes on. You can't even remember what you were thinking about 2 seconds ago, 3 seconds ago. You can if you're somewhat awake and conscious. Normal life does allow you, if nothing is totally bothering you, to be fairly aware. You can be aware of what I was thinking about. I'm going to go to the store, and then I thought about getting in the car. I can look at my thought process there. But while you were driving to the car, you were fighting with your wife, while you were doing a sales pitch, or you were envisioning, so that your thoughts are everywhere but in the car, most likely. But here we're dealing with an issue. There's an issue. You want to process something. You want to get back to love. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling upset with you. What? What is it? You say, well, it's such and such. I'm thinking this. And how does that make you feel? The thoughts that you say that I didn't come home for dinner last night. You say, what's going on with you? What did you say? I don't know. I was feeling okay until about 8 o'clock last night. I said, you know what happened? You didn't come home for dinner. Might be something about that. All right, let's start there. You made dinner, had it on the table. I didn't show up. and didn't call, I can't see any problem there. It's a. I forgot. I was busy. I did something else. So, I had to stop and talk to such and such. And God forbid I stop by the local bar or something. Hopefully you're not there, but anyway, that could be. And we said, okay, so I noticed that. Yeah. Or yesterday, last Sunday, when I noticed I haven't been the same since last Sunday. What did we do last Sunday? So, we visited your mother. Okay. So what happened between you and my mother? Nothing. Just said that I wasn't raising the kids right. Usual stuff. How do you feel about that? Want to kill her? Other than that, nothing. I'm okay. Just, I feel fine. I'm fine. It's not that bad. I don't mind. All these things go by. So you have to really deal with the fact that, yeah, no, it makes me angry. That's what I say. Anger is going to be one of the first ones. Anger covers like it's a blanket. Under the work would be to later on would be to go on to say, well, why does that make you? What's underneath the anger? It's all hurt. You hurt my feelings. Disrespect. You don't love me. Project you don't love me because you don't even call me. You don't care about me. I feel uncared for. Blah blah. You can get into that. And that's good. That's part of the process, thoughts and feelings. But you don't want to stay there. I mean, if you're using the process, so this is to get back to love. I mean, if this uncovers humongous stuff, well, get help. You need some help. Because if it's going to uncover the fact that, and generally I'm unhappy in this whole relationship, time to get some help. You should have been dealing with this a long, long time ago. If you're at the place where you're just totally unhappy with the relationship, you need help. You can't just pick this apart because there's so much. You've got volumes of work to do. You need to sit about it systematically and start going after some of these things. What agreements are we making, and what hidden agreements are there? Let's see what the hidden agreements. But we're talking about just normal stuff. We're talking about daily stuff, getting back to love, getting back to being straight. We're pretty much straight, except for the fact that we have this. This is a relationship that's not quite dysfunctional. We're talking about functional relationships. Dysfunctional relationships need this every day. A couple hours a day, you need to start working on this stuff, and with somebody else, with other people, to help to help you to cut through the delusion, the confusion, the complete not propaganda, but just misinformation or disinformation, or misunderstandings, or whatever that's going on, or just wrong view of what's happening in this life, wrong view of everything. But we're talking about regular relationships where we're working, we just have some things that are coming up every day. So we talk about our thoughts and our feelings, and then we might go into the thing and we'll say, when did it start? We just talked about that. When were you feeling, you're feeling out of sorts? When were you feeling okay? Have you always been feeling this way? Have you been, you haven't been angry for our whole life. When did you start feeling this? So it might be an incident that's something you said. And so so we get the first two. Now the third step here is that we go into what's my responsibility for this situation? What's going on here? My thoughts, I'm angry with you. What's my responsibility? Well, I mean, I haven't brought it up, so my responsibility is I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it, even if it's your quote fault. It's up to me to talk about it, to bring it up. If I expect you to pick up on my feelings, I'm kind of asking you to be a lot more than what you are. Since you wouldn't have done it in the first place if you were at that level. That you were aware of all my thoughts and feelings. So I have to communicate. I have to tell you what my thoughts and feelings are. And then the work begins. You can't stay there in thoughts and feelings because you can just go round and round and round and round. There's no movement. There's no getting back to love, because then you use that as a venting, and you start venting out all the stuff. And and that's sometimes that has to happen. On a daily basis, that's going to make things kind of dysfunctional. But on a weekly or a monthly basis, it's a thing of let's get some of this stuff out. Some of the big issues. I've counseled many people. I've talked to people that don't know whether the other person believes in God or not. don't know. You don't guys don't talk about this. No, we don't really talk about much. I said, okay. Or they don't share bank accounts. I said, you don't share bank accounts. You have separate bank accounts. How's that working for you? Well, it's good. We don't fight about money. If you don't fight about money, then how can you be in a relationship and not fight about money? Everybody fights about money. Money is the reason for 11 times more than all the others put together is why people get divorced. It's because of money. Look it up. Yeah, no, of course. You separate bank accounts. Treacherous territory. These things you need to deal with. This is some of the big issue. How we're going, where the kids are going to go to school. How we're going to raise the kids. Are we going to beat them, or are we going to process them? Are we going to help them? We're going to terrorize them, or are we going to be, kind, loving beings and teach the property, bring them up to be kind, loving beings? Or are we going to make them into, what are our agreements and this stuff? So this is the stuff about relating. So this is how relationships work. And if you're not relating, you're not talking about these things. And I know they're difficult, and I know it's time-consuming, but that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're lulled into the fact that you think that if you get entertainment and if you're having a good time, then that's what life is about. No, that's avoiding life. That's saying there's a good time out there, and if you like that one, wait till you see the next one. There's another good time coming. It's just going to get better and better and better and better, and you don't worry about that stuff. When you start to say, wait a minute, I'm not seeking pleasure. I'm running away from suffering. I'm running away from suffering. And how's that working for you? How does run away from suffering working for you? How does avoiding dealing with things that are painful and upsetting? I mean, short-term basis, I guess, sure, it works. I mean, not really because it's not authentic. And you walk around with this, this feeling inside of you that you're a liar. You're living a lie. You're not telling the truth to yourself or anybody else. You really think you came in to do that? That's okay? That you can be president or vice president or a teacher or a father or a wife or a husband or son? You think that you can live a life of lying about it to yourself, and that's what you came in to do? Well, it's a superficial way of looking at life, and I might suggest that you go study some more and go into the depth of the fact that that the purpose of life is self-awareness. That the purpose of life is to penetrate the meaning of our existence. It's to know ourselves. That's the purpose. Lifetimes after lifetimes. If you don't believe in this thing, well, just ignore me then. But lifetimes after lifetimes, we come in and we're doctors and lawyers and cooks and all these different things. And we're criminals and we're good guys and we're saviors and we're Oprah and we're Gandhi and we're all these different things. And we do wonderful works and we save the world. And which is, okay, good. I mean, better than being Stalin and Hitler, I guess. I mean, I would think so. You never know in the end, but I think it's better not to create endless suffering for others, because I think the laws of karma says that what you do comes back on you. So just from another selfish point of view, which, I'm speaking your language, I know that, don't do that. That's what Jesus said, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They're sticking a spear in the side of the Christ. What kind of karma do you think is coming, but waiting for them for that one? Not punishment. It's not punishment. It's not about they're going to be in the fires of hell. It's that they're going to kill an innocent. There's a special place. I mean, there's a special place in your mind of penetrating the Christ, the innocence of, and killing it. What happens to one person? God only knows. God only knows. And God's not telling us. God figures that we have to figure it out for ourselves. We have to figure out that doing good works produces good works. And, it's what goes around comes around. So you have to accept that and live that. And if you do the deed, you have to pay the price. And it's not about punishment. It's about karma. It's karma. Nobody's up there keeping score. You are. You keep score. You do things. Yeah. You kill bugs. You kill things. You go around killing all these things. All right. Okay. It's an act. It's an act. It has certain karma. Do you fall down dead? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's you take on that being's life. You take on the karma for that. Who cares? I mean, that's not really what we're here for. I mean, I don't do it because I feel awful when I do it. So again, there you go, hitting that selfish button. I did, you know, and I work at fear and not doing it. And saying, so wait a minute, hold it. This is a being, God's being. I didn't create it. It's a thing. Um, you know, when I have killed things and killed bugs and stuff like that, I was kind of a short-term answer for something that I could have, what could I have done? I could have picked it up and thrown it out and said, oh, it'll go out and bite somebody else. Or, centipede is going to go out there. You throw it out in the grass, and don't pick it up. You have to have a cup and things like that. You throw it out in the grass, and it's kind of waiting. It's just in there lying, waiting for a little tiny baby to walk along so it can bite and kill it. There are a gazillion of them out there, so don't worry about it. They have a space. When they invade your space, they leave. If they don't leave, you do what you have to do. You do what you have to do. You have a right. If you're in a thing, you have a right to have a house, and you have a right to have it free. You do the things you need to do to feel good about yourself. And if you feel good about slaughtering and killing a bunch of bugs and stuff like that, I suggest you go a little bit more deeply into it and feel it and say, really? I know it's a bit more work to do it that way, and perhaps even a tiny bit more dangerous than to squish them. But doesn't squishing, doesn't it bother you? It certainly bothers me. Not to, almost done. Not to say that I haven't done my time to squishing, but never joyfully, never out of the thing of, oh, that was a great thing I did. I was like, oh God, I slipped, I did that, I shouldn't have touched that cockroach or whatever it was. So we'll talk more about this in the coming weeks. I start doing live shows again. Whoa, yeah, I've been moving for the last year and a half, so it's been rough. Anyway, it's 74 years old and moving is like not the same as even 60 and moving, which was the last time I moved. But yeah, we'll be doing some shows, more regular shows, starting off at 1,000. We'll just start at 1,000. I've surely done 1,000 shows. But we'll be talking about the process, and and like I say, I'll put it up on my website, lovinglight.org, lovinglight.org, and hopefully if I can, I'm going to try to work on it right as I get off here and see if I can just stick something up on that thing, learn how to build a website. Anybody who wants to help me, call me. I've got the things, I've got everything to how to do it. I just it's just moving the little boxes around, and navigating. The learning curve, which, what is the learning curve of learning how to build a website? 24 hours of learning, studying, doing, who knows? I don't know. I'll find out. But anyways, I will have this process up, which is about thoughts and feelings, first steps, and then my responsibility, and then what's going on? How am I living? I'm reacting, so I'm living in the past. React. What's going on? And that's next week we'll talk about that. What's going on? How am I if I'm reacting, what's the script? Do we know what the script is? What's the part? What are my lines? What am I supposed to be saying here? So remember, if you want love in your life, give it out, practice it, give it, practice. You'll get it as it comes to you. You don't really have to wait for it to come back. You feel better. Giving to people, you feel better, don't you? Aloha.